What's up everyone, Lion Roar here, and Empires and Puzzles has given us a brand new seasonal event called Kalevala with a bunch of excellent heroes, probably some of the best of all the seasonal events. And today we're going to cover the legendary heroes, break them down, and give them a grade. But first, download Gemstone Legends, a mobile RPG puzzle match game. Use the link in the description to start with free stuff, including a bonus hero. Alright, so let's start off with Elmari, who is a 5-star fire hero of the fighter class, and if you've seen my other videos, you know I think that the fighter class is probably the best one. As with most event heroes, we have a Kalevala family bonus here for 1, 2, or 3 heroes. They receive -10%, -25%, or -40% less damage from the special skills of the stronger element. In this case, of course, because he's a fire hero, this would be ice. And then you also get a special bonus if you get one of these heroes and use them in this Kalevala event. Alright, we've got a passive down here, Power of Sisu. When this character starts a turn with low health, for the first time during a battle, they recover 15% health and receive 15% mana. Wow, that's actually pretty good and kind of sneaky. It's going to make Elmari, along with the fighter class, really resilient. And I think people are, of course, going to forget about this one, and they're going to be like, why the heck is this guy not dying? And that kind of thing. All right, let's take a look at the stats. 756 attack is pretty good. 819 defense is amazing. And HP of 1472 is pretty normal. All right. Forged in Fire is the special. It is slow, unfortunately. Y'all might know what I think about slow specials. The more heroes they make, the more the very fast, and average-ish type of heroes are going to be used more than the slow heroes. However, a slow hero is useful if it basically ends the game in normal circumstances. Otherwise, it's got to just be an all-star and very fast war. So let's check this out. Reduces the mana of all ice enemies by 40%, reduces the mana of all other enemies by 20%. All enemies share receive damage with each other for 4 turns. This status effect is undispellable and lasts 2 turns longer on ice characters. Also, all enemies get -56% defense for 4 turns. Against ice characters, the status effect becomes uncleansable and lasts 2 turns longer. Alright, so I think the special is very good. In fact, I love to see this -56% defense, which is just absolutely fantastic. However, it doesn't end the game when it goes off. It's going to make things really annoying because, of course, he's going to reduce mana. And then also, you know, with everybody sharing damage and taking a ton of it, he can blow up well, not him, but he can set up the situation in order for your other heroes to blow up the opponent. So what you're going to want to do is pair a bunch of area of effects type damage dealers with Elmari, and hopefully, you know, like they go off first, deal some damage, then he goes off, and you finish them off with your other heroes. I think, unfortunately, the slow speed is going to hamper him in regular situations. So I'm talking about like regular speed raids, wars, especially like tournaments and stuff. It's really hard to take a slow hero into events. So, and especially against the Titan, like there's much better defense down options against Titans here. So you're probably getting the sense that I'm like dogging on him a little bit here because of just the slow speed, because the special is amazing. I mean, the special by itself is probably an A, but you know, when you pair it with slow and the fact that it's going to depend on the other heroes going off like immediately after that too, I think I have to give Elmari a B+. Great hero. If you get him, you're lucky. That's awesome. But he's not going to be overpowered. And that's actually probably a good thing, right? Especially with this kind of special on it. Now, when we get to the very fast wars and tournaments, he's going to be an all-star. So that's why, of course, he's still going to get a good grade from me, because he is going to find usefulness, just not everywhere. Next up, we have Vainamoinen, who hopefully I pronounced that name somewhat close. If I did not, you can let me know in the comments. I spell it phonetically. Let me know how you pronounce this guy. But he is a 5-star nature hero of the sorcerer class. Not one of the best classes, but it's fine. Gets the Kalevala family bonus here, of course, and then this passive, also Power of Sisu, when this character starts a turn with low health for the first time during a battle, they recover 15% health and receive 15% mana, just like our last hero there. 788 attack is pretty good, so is 797 defense and 1452 health. This is all pretty average, though, for heroes they release now. He is a fast speed hero for the special Song of Morass, though. Deals 270% damage to the target and nearby enemies. All enemies get negative 30% accuracy for 3 turns. Chance to miss also applies to offensive special skills. Against fire characters, the status effect becomes uncleansable and lasts 2 turns longer. So, you know, this is basically sort of like a fast speed, like Justice, if you want to think of it that way. And of course, we haven't seen Justice be used in a long time. I think, you know, you're primarily, if you don't have like a costume Caitlyn or like a green hero on defense that's doing a lot, defense is where this hero is going to like shine. And so, you know, if you put this on defense and it's blinding the opponent, I wish it lasted more than 3 turns. And that actually makes it even just a little bit worse than Justice as far as the special goes. But this is a really like mediocre hero. Like, I don't know if you could take it on offense. It would be okay. It'd be fine. Like, if you're just looking for that 5th hero to put in a team to support the rest of what you're doing, especially if you can match up synergies, like if you need a lot of area of effect type synergies, you're trying to protect your team, stuff like that. You know, this is all pretty good, but Vainamoinen is not going to finish anyone off, probably. The fact that he's fast speed is great because you can kind of keep the blind going. It might be okay in like events and stuff like that where you're trying to prevent the opponent. If you're just going for completion, you're certainly not using this for speed, but you know, just to try and protect your team a little bit by blinding the opponent and that kind of stuff. So, you know, I don't see anywhere in Empires and Puzzles where Vainamoinen's just a slam dunk placement. You know, he's already fast, so very fast wars and tournaments doesn't matter all that much. You know, you probably, I think if you're creative and you use the right types of synergies, you can get him to work okay. But because of that, I'm going to give Vainamoinen a B-. Louie is a 5-star dark purple hero of the monk class and Kalevala family, as we've already talked about that type of passive special, and then also gets Power of Sisu, which is again recovering 15% health and 15% mana when low on health. 815 attack is very strong. 774 defense is good. 1431 HP, pretty average as well. This is an average speed hero. Feather Tempest is the special. Dispels buffs from all enemies. Deals 250% damage to all enemies. All enemies get negative 24% defense for 4 turns. Against holy characters, the status effect becomes uncleansable and lasts 2 turns longer. So I really like that all enemies are getting this negative defense debuff, which is really fantastic. I love that, and especially because this is an average speed hero, you can put a mana troop on it and then make it go essentially at fast speed with 9 tiles instead of 10. So do remember that it's kind of like a fast defense down on everybody. Now this is not a unique effect, and in fact probably slightly worse than like Friggin' Morel, but pretty good. If you don't have Friggin' Morel and you get Louie, excellent. Like, that's fantastic. Now, because there's so many purple tanks, so many great purple tanks in Empires and Puzzles, and that's primarily what's used in war and a lot of raid teams and things like that too. If you don't have one of those like really overpowered ones, Louie's gonna work very well. So if you need a purple tank in war, even though this isn't your traditional tanky type of hero, meaning like where the defense is extraordinarily high or there's some kind of really special like defense special that's, you know, buffing its own defense or giving it taunt or something like that, making it hard to kill, that's not there. But you can set up a really aggressive type of defense with this where it's the tank and everybody gets defense down, and then you have area of effect type of heroes that come in and like clean up basically. I like that it's average speed because you can make it a little bit faster in that way. You can also use it on offense, like if you don't have a purple defense down hero, like I don't have a legendary one on my roster, this is excellent because then you compare it with your other heroes that do a lot of damage and get that in there. So I think Louie is going to be good. I think slightly worse than Friggin' Morel in the tiered list, but not like super far off from them. I mean, the class is not as strong as them either. So I'm going to give Louie a B plus because I think strong, very useful. If you get him, you're lucky, but simply because there's heroes out there that have a similar effect and do better, that's why he's not higher. Now, I'm really excited about Ino, who is a 5-star blue hero of the cleric class. And this cleric class is something we see a lot on this type of special, which we're going to cover in a moment. Again, remember the KALEVALA family passive there. And then also we've got the power of Sisu again. 778 attack. That's not going to matter as much as this 801 defense, which is really good, in the 1456 HP. Summer Carol is average speed. Now check this out. Cleanses status ailment from all allies. In Empires and Puzzles, you can't seem to get enough of this effect. There's so many status ailments out there. It's not quite as cumbersome as it used to be in the past because there's kind of been this rock, paper, scissors meta shift where now you have to worry about things like fiends and minions and buffs and all of that too more equally than you used to, but it is still imperative that you have cleansing healers ready to go in wars and raids and things like that, because there's just all kinds of status effects out there. So I love that I'm seeing that already. Recovers 40% health for all allies. That's a huge amount. That's excellent. And then this is the best part. All enemies get negative 24% mana generation for 4 turns. Against nature characters, this status effect becomes uncleansable and lasts 2 turns longer. I think people are going to underestimate Ino. And I'm really excited about Ino because this is just straight up, I think, the best healing cleanser that they've printed to this point, mainly because the utility doesn't come from just the healing and the cleansing, which if that's all it said, she'd still be a good hero, but slowing the entire enemy team down, that is fantastic. The problem with this type of hero, let's say like, you know, I've got Regard and costume Regard and things like that. And there's, you know, Ariel and stuff like that out there that have a very similar type of special. You can't really use them on defense. Like you can, but it usually pays to have other effects on defense than healing cleansers. That's better for offense when you can time it and choose when you want to do it. But the fact that there's negative 24% mana generation here means you might actually be able to sneak Ino on defense in certain situations. I can't say that I would do that because I feel like I have enough heroes in my roster. I can probably go with a really aggressive type of defense and not need to worry about healing. But, you know, I'll tell you what, you get into some of those like very fast wars and tournaments and not only slow the opponent down so they're not going off very fast, but like when Ino's going off at very fast speed and constantly healing and cleansing and things like that, it can make it really hard to beat a defense like that. So I think for the first time we're seeing a healer, a cleansing healer that is having this absolutely devastating negative mana generation effect that's going to be useful whether you're taking Ino on offense, which is already a great offensive hero, but adding that onto it. And now on defense potentially too. You know, I can't see you necessarily wanting to use Ino against Titan, but certainly in the tournaments and events and things like that. There's a lot of usefulness that's going to come out of this. I think people are going to underrate Ino because she looks like a lot of other heroes that already exist, but she's a little bit better. People are going to forget some of those like defensive heroes in the past, like Teleria and Guinevere, who really mess with the mana, and if they don't pay attention to that, she's going to mess them up. So for that reason, I'm going to give Ino an A, because I think there's just so many ways to use her. You can make her go from average to fast speed basically with the mana troop. She's just excellent all around. Kullervo is up next. He is a 5-star holy hero of the rogue class, also one of the best classes out there. Gets the KALEVALA family bonus and the power of Sisu passive. 805 attack is just amazing. 780 defense, pretty good, relatively average for heroes they release now. And 1431 HP is actually kind of on the lower side of heroes they release now. He is an average speed hero. Again, like I've been talking about, put a mana troop on it, make it faster. Most people can do that. Heirloom Dagger deals 300% damage to the target. then deals 470% damage to a random different enemy. Enemies hit automatically cast Mindless Attack on a random ally when mana is full at the start of a turn during 3 turns. Against dark characters, the status effect becomes uncleansable and lasts 2 turns longer. This is awesome. I love this effect, and this is not the first time we've seen this effect before. We've just seen it like usually on the lower rarities. But the fact that we're tagging Mindless Attack on it means that you've got a hero now who is really going to mess with the defense. Hey, this is like printed to go after the Alfreaks of the defense, or no pods, or just those really problematic purple tanks. I think this is an awesome offensive hero, especially in wars where there's purple tanks everywhere. And I think it's really cool to use against like the Titan even too. If you imagine going up against the purple Titan, well, if it's just constantly casting Mindless Attack on itself, you don't even have to necessarily worry about the special going off, because you should be able to connect yellow matches enough to just keep this thing, keep the Titan off its game like pretty much the whole time. So there's a lot of utility in this one. I would say it's a better offensive hero than a defensive hero. It is a Swiss Army knife kind of hero in which you're going to like choose to use this one strategically and for the purpose it needs to be used for. You're not just going to throw it in everywhere. And it can't be just used on every team ever or against everything. For that reason, I'm going to give it an A- because it's very good. It's very powerful. It's going to have a really, really good effect on offense where you can control it. On defense, it's still going to be good. You just can't control it as much. And this is a hero that wants you to be strategic in how you're using it. And last but certainly not least, we have Iku-Turso, who is a 5-star nature druid class hero. The druid class is okay. I like it for it's sort of like defensive properties if you get a good defensive hero. KALEVALA family bonus there, and we've also got the power of Sisu again, which we've covered. 801 attack is very good. Defense 780, pretty average. 1448 HP is fine. Dreaded Waters is the special, is fast speed. Deals 280% damage to the target and nearby enemies. The target and nearby enemies receive 240 water damage over 3 turns. Against fire characters, the status effect becomes uncleansable and lasts 2 turns longer. The caster steals 51% of any healing applied to the target and nearby enemies for 3 turns. Against fire characters, the status effect becomes uncleansable and lasts 2 turns longer. So there's a lot of text here, but basically what this is doing is just hitting 3 heroes, and a lot of times only 2 heroes, with 280% damage. The attack stat's really high, so that can add up, and it is dealing more water damage. The fact that it's not allowing healing to really go off for a couple of those characters is going to really hamper them if they are trying to heal up. The question is, what is Iku-Turso good for? It's hard to say defense because, I don't necessarily love this target nearby enemies type of special because of what I just mentioned. Is oftentimes it's only hitting 2 characters. If you have it on offense, you can oftentimes hit 3, but once the tank is gone, and that usually happens pretty early in a match, well, you're left with only being able to hit 2, so you got to keep that in mind. But then, especially on defense, like sometimes the AI just chooses to hit, like, target the hero in the end. In fact, there's a 2/5 chance that it's going to do that, right? And in that case, oftentimes the AI is more frequently only hitting 2 than if you're taking this on offense. So, it is really annoying if it's on defense and dealing a lot of damage against you, and it's nickel and diming you with the water damage, and you're not really able to heal. We've seen that can really hamper an attacker. Well, with things like fiends, that when the hero's not really able to heal and it's just trying to heal to get rid of the fiends that are dealing damage and stuff like that. This is actually a very similar type of effect. So yeah, if Iku-Turso is not dealt with and goes off a couple of times, that's going to be real annoying. It's going to be hard to deal with. Here's the problem. If Iku-Turso gets to go off a couple times, that means that your offense isn't probably doing much, and it doesn't really matter who's on defense. You're probably still going to lose that no matter what. It's just the way it is, right? Now, on offense, not a lot of people put healers on defense, and some do, but You know, taking it on offense, you'd really want to match it up against probably a defense that has healers. So you're going to have to select that niche kind of time. Otherwise, like 280% damage to target nearby enemies, 240 water damage is not much to write home about if there's not any kind of healing stealing going on. You know what I mean? So like you would want to make sure to save this for, I don't know, like a Mother North type of defense, or if someone happens to stick a healer in, or, you know, you notice something like that. So probably much better for defense and offense. And I would still say relatively average for defense and so-so for offense. So for that reason, I'm going to give Iku-Turso a B-. B- might actually even seem a little, it might seem forgiving as far as the special goes, because we've just seen a lot of specials like this. But you have to remember, like, of all the heroes and empires and puzzles now, look at these stats. The stats are all really good. The effect is going to be stronger even than ones that look a lot like this from the past. And so it's got to have just a little bit higher of a grade. Otherwise, you know, if the stats were comparable to other heroes in the past, it probably would have been more of like a C+ type of hero, that kind of thing. But let me know what you think in the comments about any of these heroes I've talked about today. First of all, did you get them? Which ones did you get? Which ones are you most excited about? If you disagree with me on any, that's totally okay. Let me know in the comments. I love to hear other people's thoughts. If you haven't already, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you know when I drop new videos or go live, and I will catch you in the next one.